There are moments in life when you feel something shifting deep inside you, a sense that the old ways no longer hold power over you, that the games of status and recognition have lost their meaning. This is not a coincidence. It is a sign that your spirit has reached a rare stage of evolution. Throughout history, the Shaolin path has taught that human beings walk through countless cycles of learning. Each cycle brings lessons through hardship, attachment, and desire. But there comes a time when the wheel slows, when the soul nears completion, and this moment is not marked by drama, it is marked by quiet clarity. In this teaching, I will share with you 10 signs that reveal whether you are living your final life cycle. These are not surface signs, they are subtle, often overlooked truths rooted in ancient wisdom, truths that monks guarded for centuries and that most people pass by without seeing. If you recognize them in yourself, it means your soul has traveled far, endured much, and is standing at the threshold of release. Listen closely, because each sign carries both knowledge and responsibility. To know them is to awaken. To live them is to master yourself. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the hidden signals of your last life cycle, but also how to align with them, to walk with discipline, peace, and purpose. You are here because a deeper part of you is ready to remember. Let us walk together through this teaching. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If the path of inner mastery speaks to you, subscribe and stay with us, for this wisdom is meant to be lived, not just heard. There is a silence that does not frighten you, but nourishes you. In the beginning, most people fear being alone. They rush to fill the empty space with noise, with company, with distractions. But when the cycle nears its end, something changes. The silence that once felt heavy now feels alive, as if it carries its own wisdom. I remember a lesson from my master. He would send us into the mountains, each with nothing but a robe and a bowl. No books, no company, no instruction, only the trees, the wind, and our restless minds. At first, the solitude pressed against us like a weight. We wanted to escape, to return to movement and chatter. But after days, something shifted. The silence began to teach. The mind that once screamed with thoughts began to soften. The stillness of the forest became our companion. This is the mark of a soul nearing completion. You no longer see solitude as a punishment, but as a gift. You enter it willingly because you know that in the quiet, your truest nature reveals itself. The noise of the world fades, and in its place rises a deeper voice, the one that cannot be heard in the marketplace or the crowd. When you feel at home in stillness, it means you are no longer running away from yourself. The emptiness that others avoid becomes your ground of strength. This is where wisdom ripens, not in endless words or achievements, but in the silent recognition of what you truly are. In that stillness, you are whole. There is a higher form of compassion that is not bound by preference. Most people love only when it is easy, when affection is returned, when respect is shown. But the true test of the heart is how it responds when kindness is not given back. To love only the gentle is instinct. To love even those who wound you, that is mastery. In the Shaolin temples, discipline was never only about the body, it was about softening the heart without losing strength. Monks were taught to bow not only to their teachers, but also to those who opposed them. Why? Because every encounter, whether warm or hostile, was seen as a mirror. A teacher comes in many forms, sometimes through a kind hand, other times through the sting of insult. When compassion flows without condition, it does not mean weakness. It means you are no longer controlled by the reactions of others. The one who insults you cannot take away your peace. The one who betrays you cannot steal your inner balance. This is the fruit of discipline. Your love does not shrink when tested, it expands. Ancient masters taught that anger is borrowed fire. It burns quickly and leaves only ash. Compassion, on the other hand, is like water. It nourishes everything it touches, and no matter how much is given, it remains full. To love an enemy does not mean to embrace their harm, but to see beyond their ignorance, to understand that they too are caught in cycles of suffering. When care flows naturally, it means you are free. You are no longer reacting to the small tides of human behavior, you are moving with the great river of life itself. And in that flow, both friend and enemy are embraced by the same current. There comes a time when the same patterns that once trapped you begin to dissolve. For most of life, people move in circles, falling into the same conflicts, the same desires, the same disappointments. The faces may change, but the lesson repeats until it is finally understood. This is the nature of cycles. In the old Shaolin teaching halls, students would train the same form again and again. At first, it felt like punishment. Why repeat a single movement 1,000 times? Yet with each repetition, layers of resistance fell away. The body grew stronger, but more importantly, the mind became quiet. What seemed like endless struggle revealed its purpose. The form was never about the movement itself. It was about who you became by living through it. Life works in the same way. A difficult relationship, a craving that returns, a struggle that rises again. These are not failures. They are invitations. Each time they appear, they ask, will you react as before, or have you grown? When you begin to see the pattern, you stop fighting against it. You take the teaching it carries, you absorb it, and then you move forward. This is where mastery begins. No clinging to the past, no bitterness toward the test, no craving for the outcome, just a steady awareness that everything arises to shape you, and once its lesson is complete, it no longer needs to return. To walk this way is to step off the wheel that turns endlessly. Discipline transforms repetition into revelation. Struggle transforms into strength. Desire fades into understanding. And what once held you tightly now falls away like old chains that no longer fit. The cycle ends, not with force, but with quiet release. There is a strength that does not shout, yet it holds more power than any weapon. It is the strength of remaining calm when the storm arrives. Most people, when pressure rises, are swept away by it. Their breath quickens, their thoughts scatter, and fear takes command. But one who has trained the mind knows a different response. Instead of reacting, they step back inwardly. They watch, they breathe, they remain steady while the world trembles. In the old training yards, young monks were sometimes placed in sudden tests. A loud clash of cymbals, a harsh command, or even a bucket of cold water poured without warning. It was not cruelty, it was practice. The lesson was simple. Life will always surprise you. You cannot control the noise, but you can control the state of your own heart. Calmness is not passivity, it is clarity. When you do not panic, you can see the situation as it truly is, without the distortion of fear. From that stillness, the right action naturally reveals itself. The archer who trembles misses the target. The one who steadies his breath finds the mark with ease. This calmness does not appear overnight. It grows from discipline, hours of breathwork, meditation, and learning to sit with discomfort until it no longer controls you. Slowly, pressure becomes your training ground. You realize that chaos is external, but peace is internal. When calmness becomes your natural ground, the world no longer dictates your state. Whether surrounded by noise, conflict, or uncertainty, you remain centered. This is true mastery, to carry stillness within you, unshaken by the storms outside. In that stillness, strength becomes effortless, and fear finds no place to rest. There comes a point when the shine of the world no longer dazzles you. Gold, titles, and applause may once have stirred excitement, but now they feel empty, like drinking from a cup that never satisfies. This is not bitterness, it is awakening. You begin to see that outer trophies cannot touch the depth of the soul. In ancient times, emperors would summon monks to their courts, offering treasures and honors if they agreed to stay. Many refused, not out of arrogance, but out of understanding. They knew that the palace walls could not provide what the inner temple already held. To master oneself was greater than to rule a kingdom. A king might command thousands, but still be enslaved by his own desires. The monk who has mastered his breath, his thoughts, his heart, he is truly free. Discipline teaches this truth slowly. At first, the body craves comfort, the mind craves recognition, but through years of training, you begin to notice comfort weakens, recognition fades, wealth decays, none of it lasts. What endures is the strength you cultivate inside, the discipline that allows you to rise before dawn, the clarity that guides your decisions, the peace that no praise or insult can disturb. When inner mastery becomes more valuable than outer gain, life changes. You no longer chase shadows. You stop measuring yourself against others. Success becomes the ability to remain true to your path, even in silence, even when no one is watching. The world may offer crowns and coins, but their weight only binds you tighter. The one who turns inward finds a treasure that cannot be lost, the quiet power of self-mastery shining brighter than any jewel. There is a wisdom in knowing when to act and when to wait. Most people fight against life as if it were an enemy, pushing when the time is wrong, resisting when the time is right. This struggle exhausts them because they do not see the rhythm behind events. But those who walk closer to mastery begin to sense the current. They move with it, not against it, like water shaping stone. In old stories, masters compared life to the seasons. A farmer does not plant in winter, no matter how much he desires a harvest. He waits, he observes, he works with the earth. In the same way, the disciplined mind understands that everything has its moment. Action without timing wastes strength. Action in harmony with causes carries little effort and great effect. This is not laziness, it is alignment. Water is soft, yet over years it carves mountains. It does not rush, but it never stops. It adapts to every obstacle, flowing around rocks, wearing them down in silence. The one who learns from water discovers patience, endurance, and quiet strength. To live this way requires practice. It is the art of listening inwardly, of sensing not only your own readiness, but also the conditions around you. Meditation sharpens this awareness. Discipline steadies it. Slowly you no longer feel the need to force outcomes. You trust the unfolding of causes. And because of this, your movements carry precision. When you flow like water, resistance falls away. You act at the right moment, you wait at the right moment, and both are equally powerful. This is how the stone is shaped, not by violence, but by the quiet persistence of rhythm. There comes a stage on the path where death no longer frightens you. Most live as if it were a shadow chasing them, something to be avoided, resisted, denied. Yet the deeper you walk into mastery, the clearer it becomes. Death is not the enemy. It is part of the same rhythm that carried you into life. A closing of one door, an opening of another. The ancients often spoke of death as a return, not a loss. In the Shaolin halls, young disciples were reminded daily of impermanence. Bowls would be broken, candles left to burn out, sand mandalas swept away after hours of work. The lesson was not sorrow, it was clarity. All things end, and in their ending, they reveal their true nature. Nothing belongs to us, not even the body we carry. When you train with this awareness, fear loosens its grip. The breath you hold in meditation, rising and falling, becomes a mirror of life and death itself. Inhale, birth. Exhale, release. Each cycle shows you endings are not destruction, they are transformation. To see death as part of the great rhythm is to live more fully. No moment is wasted. No word is careless, because you understand its fragility. Instead of clinging, you appreciate. Instead of fearing the final step, you prepare for it with calm dignity. The same way a warrior sharpens his blade not for battle but for readiness. When death becomes a door rather than an end, life itself becomes lighter. You walk without the heavy chains of fear. You embrace the rhythm, birth, growth, decay, return as the natural dance of existence. And in that embrace, you discover freedom. There comes a moment when the self is no longer at the center of every action. In the early stages of the path, discipline is for survival, strength for protection, knowledge for progress, practice for personal growth. But when the heart ripens, something shifts. You begin to act not only for yourself, but for others. Service is no longer a duty or a burden. It flows as naturally as breath. In the old temples, senior disciples carried water, chopped wood, and tended to the younger ones. These tasks were never seen as menial. They were expressions of training. To sweep the floor with attention was as important as mastering a form. To guide a beginner was as valuable as refining your own skill. The true measure of growth was not how much strength you had gained, but how much of it you could give away without hesitation. This way of living transforms the meaning of discipline. Your practice becomes fuel for service. The patience you cultivated in silence helps you comfort someone in pain. The clarity you gain through meditation allows you to teach without confusion. The resilience built through hardship enables you to stand firm for those who cannot. Such service does not drain you, it strengthens you, because it no longer comes from ego or a need for recognition. It comes from alignment with the greater whole, just as a tree does not bear fruit for itself, but for the ones who come to eat. Mastery finds its purpose in giving. When service feels natural, it means the boundary between self and other has thinned. What uplifts them uplifts you. What protects them protects you. In this way, the path of mastery becomes the path of offering. What these signs truly reveal is not just the end of a cycle, but the fullness of a journey. To live without clinging, to embrace solitude, to love without preference, to release old patterns, and to walk calmly through chaos. This is the path of mastery. It is not about leaving life behind, but about living it with such depth and awareness that nothing binds you anymore. If you see these qualities growing within you, let them guide your daily steps. Let discipline shape your mornings, compassion guide your actions, and stillness anchor your nights. The final cycle is not a destination to wait for. It is a way of living each moment with clarity, service, and peace. Thank you for walking this path with us today. May you carry these lessons quietly into your own life. If these teachings speak to your heart, we welcome you to join our journey here at Shaolin Soulfire. Like, subscribe, and stay with us as we continue to share wisdom that strengthens the spirit and awakens the soul. Peace be with you.